It's a dark night. You're on a singular lonely street. You are completely alone and isolated, and there's a single streetlight that is lit up, and you're being able to find your way because of that streetlight. It was recently suggested in my comment section that we do a reaction to the song Streetlight by Changbin. So we're gonna be doing a deep dive on the lyrics and the music video and talking a little bit about Changbin's emo-ish heart that we all love so very, very much.
쓸쓸한 하루 끝에서 우두커 네 손채로 고독한 밤 한가운데 애써 밝게 웃어본다. 지내고 싶지 않아 나약해 빠진 내 모습 날 의지했던 그들에게 네 모습은 몽순 강한 척 안 아픈 척 아무렇지 않은 척 그저 누군가에게 힘이 되고 싶은 난데 나로 인해 그들의 힘을 빼면 안 되기를 되란 말에 물음표를 붙일 용기가 없어 난 아픔은 나갈 문이 없는 방 안에서 갇힌 채로 소리 없이 커져가 참을 만큼 참아보니 무뎌지더라 아직 견디만 할까봐 참아지니까 상처 위에 밴드는 결국 떨어지기 마련 겹이 붙이긴 했는데 얼마 못 가 다시 가져 벌어버린 지붕으로 쌓여가는 빔으로 내 빈틈을 넣지나 잘하는지 세 번세길 반복 누군가 필요해 모두 무너지기 전에 다시 물어봐도 괜찮냐고 어느 누구라도 가로등 불빛처럼 가로등 불빛처럼 외로운 밤 한가운데 그저 밝아 보이는 너 쓸쓸한 하루 끝에서 우두커 네 손채로 고독한 밤 한가운데 애써 밝게 웃어본다 아무것도 의지하지 못해 스스로 나 자신만을 의지하게 선택 그러던 내가 흔들리고 있는 지금 난 대체 누구를 붙잡아야 하는 걸까 전에 내가 손 올렸던 어깨 앞에 그보다 더 툭 터져버린 내 어깨는 who cares 털어놓지 못해 다 털어놓지 못해 털어내지 못한 아픔은 결국 내 자신의 탓에 탁한 공기 속에 숨을 들이키다 보면 무쾌함을 넘어서 넘어갈 듯 털떡거려 아무것도 아닌 말도 괜히 신경 쓰게 돼 아무것도 아닌 것도 아무렇지 않지 않아 주변의 시선 날 향한 것도 아닌데 따갑게 느껴져 감췄던 표정 잠깐만 보다가 들켜 드러나게 될까 두려워 그래는 두려워 가로등 불빛처럼 가로등 불빛처럼 두려워 두려워 쓸쓸한 하루 끝에서 또 우두커 네 손채로 고독한 밤 한가운데 애써 밝게 웃어본다 저 가로등 불빛처럼 가로등 불빛처럼 외로운 밤 한가운데 그저 밝아 보이는 너 쓸쓸한 하루 끝에서 우두커 네 손채로 고독한 밤 한가운데 애써 밝게 웃어본다 가로등 불빛처럼 가로등 불빛처럼 외로운 밤 한가운데 그저 밝아 보이는 너 쓸쓸한 하루 끝에서 우두커 네 손채로 고독한 밤 한가운데 애써 밝게 웃어본다
Freaking heavy song. So let's talk about it. So we're going to go through the lyrics just a little bit because the original music video does not have any of the English lyrics, and I have not been able to figure out a way to get closed captions on it because they're not like generated. They're not there in English. So we're going to go through the lyrics really quick. For those of you who don't know Changbin very well, he is kind of considered in the group dynamic the strong man. Like he's even called like big boy and stuff like that in a very sweet and loving way by the other members of the group. He is very muscular. He's got really broad shoulders, and he's always been kind of seen as this strength, this pillar within the group itself. So reading these lyrics and knowing that that's kind of like, he's the older brother. Even though he's not necessarily age-wise older than the other members, not all of the other members, he is in the Hyung line, though. He is one of the older ones. So he definitely does look at the other guys as like his little brothers, and that he needs to protect them and he needs to be there for them and be strong for them. Understanding that, and that this was written 6 years ago. Well, this was released 6 years ago. Who knows when they actually wrote this song? But this was in the timeline of Stray Kids' discography. This is very early. Like, this is in the beginning. So they were still on the rise. They were being kind of ignored critically by the South Korean audience, and they were struggling to find their place in the world, in K-pop, in music. And they were all pretty young too, so they were trying to find their own personal places within the world and how they were going to fit in general. So let's go to the lyrics. So these are supplied by Genius. So this is the intro and chorus. Like a streetlight, at the end of a lonely day, standing vacantly in the middle of the lonely night, I try my best to smile brightly. Verse 1. I don't want anyone to see how incredibly weak I am. To the people who relied on me, that's a contradiction. Acting strong, acting like I'm not hurting, acting like nothing is wrong. I just wanted to be someone who gives strength to others. I can't be the reason that they lose strength. I don't have the courage to ask, can I lean on you? The pain silently grows in my heart. Trapped in a room without a way out. When you've held it in for so long, you grow numb to it. I guess I can still bear it because I'm still able to hold it in. The bandage on the wound will eventually come off, even though I quickly stick it back on. It doesn't stay on for much long. Rainwater pounding on the old roof finds my empty cracks all too well, keeps leaking again and again. I need someone before I collapse. Please ask me again if I'm okay. Somebody, anybody. This hits really strong for me right now because I have a friend, someone that I knew that I looked up to and that I really respected, took their own life. And I found out yesterday. So these lyrics really hit me hard. So chorus, like a streetlight, in the middle of the lonely night, I still just look bright at the end of a lonely day. Standing vacantly again in the middle of the lonely night, I try my best to smile brightly. Okay, we're going to go back and talk about verse 1 before we move on to verse 2. This is something that Changbin has talked about in interviews and most recently in the Dominate experience. If you got a chance to see that movie in theaters, he talked about how he always wants to be the strong one. He's not okay not being the strong one, and that it's kind of difficult sometimes because he wants to keep that persona up. He wants to be that for everyone else. But obviously, nobody can be strong all the time. And everybody needs somebody to say to them, are you okay? Can I help you? Can I be with you? A lot of times, the strongest people in our lives are battling demons that you will never understand. And so to have him be so self-reflective at a fairly young age, I think he was like 20, he was like 20 when they did this. It is so intense. And then you've got the music video that's has this tree that's kind of growing out, and it has this blue paint that's falling down. And I believe that that's kind of this homage of bleeding. Like, the bandage on the wound will eventually come off. Even though I quickly stick it back on, it doesn't stay for much long, because you're trying so hard to be that for everyone else, but you are losing yourself And you don't even realize it because it's bit by bit by bit until one day you look around and you realize there is nothing left of you. It's almost like I've experienced this myself. Rainwater pounding on the old roof finds my empty cracks all too well, keeps leaking again and again. This is the part that's hard. I need someone before I collapse. Please ask me again if I'm okay. Somebody, anybody. Unable to rely on anything, I choose to only rely on myself, but know that I'm shaking. Who can I even hold on to for support? In front of the shoulders I'd rested my hands on in comfort. My shoulders are now drooping even farther, but who cares? I can't let it out. I can't let it all out. And the pain I couldn't let out starts blaming myself. Like, how many times have you experienced this where it's like the negative emotions, the negative feelings that you're having get turned inward so that it's not like this situation is really really stressful or you're really struggling with a specific set of emotions and it all turns inward on you. And it's like everything is horrible. You are awful. You have a moral failing in yourself versus being able to look at the situation and the emotion and holding that spot, because it is so destructive and everyone does it. This is not a Changbin. This is not a Bangchen. This is not unique, but everyone experiences it uniquely. But it's a universal experience. And I hate how much he's talking about his shoulders, about the weight that he's holding on his shoulders, that they're drooping and that there's nobody around him that he feels like he can talk to. And this reflects a lot of what I've heard Bang Chen talk about as well, in the fact that as the leader, he feels like he has to be strong. But Changbin solely wrote these lyrics, and the amount of pressure that he felt as a 20-year-old reading or writing this and going through this is really difficult to read, knowing that he was struggling with this. When I keep breathing in this stale air, it goes beyond being uncomfortable and I'm left gasping for air. I end up bothered by things that shouldn't even matter, and they end up mattering, even though they shouldn't, even though people's eyes aren't on me. Okay, the English doesn't work super well right here, but even though people's eyes aren't on me, I feel their gazes sting. Thinking they might keep watch and see the expression I've been hiding slip out. I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm afraid. I think that's an interesting one, because when you become insulated, when you become very insular, you go through a really interesting dichotomy where you feel like everyone is watching you and then no one's watching you. So you feel completely isolated and alone, while at the same time feeling like everyone in the entire world is paying attention to what you're doing. And you can't mess up. You have to be perfect. You can't make mistakes. You can't show weakness. Showing you humanity, not weakness. But you can't do that because you feel like everyone's eyes are on you. But then when you're sitting by yourself and you realize there's nobody there with you, then you feel completely alone. Like, this is such a deep, powerful expression of how he felt at this time, and something that so many people experience. This is a universal experience. Then going back into the chorus, the rest of the song is just the chorus, so we'll just read it one last time. Like a streetlight, at end of a lonely day, standing vacantly again in the middle of the lonely night, I try my best to smile brightly. So we've got these verses where he's talking about how he's trying so hard to be strong for everyone else, and his shoulders are taking the weight, but they're starting to droop, and he needs somebody to say, are you okay? I know that he has people in his life that he can ask the question, can I lean on you? And people that will ask him if he's okay. So like that's kind of a reassurance for me, because if I was reading these lyrics and hearing this song for the very first time, I would be really, really, really concerned about him and about his well-being, because this is so much to take on and to feel, and the amount of pressure that they had in those first couple of years. I mean, they have a lot of pressure now, but those first couple of years of the grind of constantly having to put out things, be better, do better. You have to, you know, sacrifice every part of your life for the group, for the music, getting it out there. Granted, they absolutely love what they do. So while it's a grind, it's also bringing them joy and happiness through all of the things that they're doing. It still becomes a weight. And then in the chorus, he's talking about like the visuals of this. It's a dark night. You're on a singular lonely street. You are completely alone and isolated. And there's a single streetlight that is lit up, and you're being able to find your way because of that streetlight. That's who Changbin wants to be. That's who he wants to show the entire world, not the parts that are difficult, not the parts that are lonely, the parts that weigh on him, but being a streetlight to the rest of the world, being that light on the hill so that other people can find their way. That's who he wants to be. And this music, this song shows the other side of that, is that if you want to be a light on the hill, if you want to be there, the darkness that you're fighting on a daily freaking basis is intense. Because of recent events in my life and learning about my friend that's passed, I just want to say this in closing. There is never weakness in expressing how you feel and asking for help. There is never weakness in that. The rest of the world may frame it that way, but one of the most difficult things I have ever done in my entire life was be honest and tell my husband, I am not okay and I'm scared. Changbin has had that, and in his struggle to continue to be that person, he has learned so much. The only reason I know that is because of interviews that he's done and things that he's talked about since then. 2 kids' rooms where he's discussed how he has felt and how he's grown as a person. But I just want to make sure that everyone that watches this knows you are not forgotten. You are seen. And the things that you go through are important. And it's okay to ask for help. That's Streetlight. I am shocked that I was able to get through it without crying, actually crying. I teared up a little bit, which maybe next time. Anyway, if you got to the very end of this video and you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you doing? You sat through me blather for 20 minutes. You should be subscribed. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell because we have a couple of really cool videos coming up. I'm going to be doing a compare and contrast of the pre-debut to now vocals of the entire group one by one. We're going to be starting with Changbin, and I am really, really excited about that series. So hit the notification bell so you know when those are coming out, and remember, you are not forgotten, you are seen. I'll talk to you guys next time.